It's a green.
It's a go.
It's a go.
Let's go.
We still don't know how to do it.
I know.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wholehearted Living. I'm still looking at our title with
Valerie
and Benny.
We are siblings, if you don't know that by now.
Yeah. So we're the sibling podcast where one of us chooses a subject and the other person does not know what it is, and then we just chat about it. Honestly, we just like to chat.
We do.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't even have a subject because we forgot to bring our notes.
That's so funny.
But
I was gonna tee it up. I was gonna tee it up and go. And Valerie has the most prepared one she's ever had in her entire life. So
Oh my
be
gosh, I
ready
think
for
this is
150 points
I think
of
this is the
wholehearted
second
living.
time I've forgotten the notes.
It is the second time. So I don't know. It's very difficult when your sibling doesn't prepare, and all of our followers are very disappointed, wondering where all the points are, where all the scripts are. Yeah. So
Well, I mean, the funny thing is too, is when I don't know about you, but like a lot of times I have all these thoughts in my head once I'm like thinking about a topic and then what I'm going to say or what I want to like bring up. But then you might say something that kind of directs
Derails
it. It's not even maybe, I mean, sometimes you do derail the subject entirely, but even if you're still on topic, it kind of derails what I was going to say because I'm responding to you.
Exactly.
You know, so
No,
it
I
is,
have
we
the
really
same
just
thing.
basically chat about stuff.
yeah,
So.
we are gonna start. Well, I'm bringing this on you right now. We've talked about it, but we just need to make it happen.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start having guests.
Yeah.
We are gonna
Yeah.
start having guests.
We talked about, I think we threw it out there a couple of times about having Stephanie, our sister, on. I'd like to have Mom on as well. I'm so sorry. I'm
Okay.
just,
Did you hear that? Okay, keep going.
okay. And, yeah, and then I'd like to have Mom on. There's a couple other people that we fun to just chat with
Yeah.
as well.
So we definitely want to have our sister on. If there would be something called an expert, I guess she's been a therapist for 20 some years. So we could ask her what it means to do therapy. I'm just kidding. But that's the problem is we want to have people on, but we just like to chat. And
I know.
so we're a little
If
like,
they could just come on and listen.
yeah, exactly. That'll be great. Oh my goodness. And we got Iggy here. Hello, Iggy.
Hello.
Yeah, Iggy's our sound guy. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Did you come prepared?
I'm never prepared.
But Iggy got a new job. If you guys have been listening, he has been a barista. Well, not necessarily a barista, but a barista in Starbucks and a manager of the store.
He was a manager, yeah.
But I guess I say barista because he's very good at making coffees.
Coffee. 'Cause
Yeah.
he still actually, you like making coffee.
Yeah. And
Actually, that's what
so-
you like more than the managing.
It's a very therapeutic thing.
Yeah. He has a really nice little coffee bar here.
He
And
does.
so, but he got
You'll
a new
see it in
job.
the first episode.
That's true.
That's right. Go to the first episode.
That is very true. But do you like your new job? You got a new job and you like it?
I just finished my third week.
Oh, it's been 3 already. Oh, wow. Look
been
at
quick.
you.
So what we could do is we could have Iggy explain what he does, and it'll take about 10 minits. And then you know what? Can I tell you what's so funny is after 10 minutes, you're still not going to understand what he does.
He's a transponster.
No, it's because he's told me many, many times, and I don't mean to say I do understand in general, but it's not just like, okay, he does this and then this and then this. It's like, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah.
Is that a
Well-
fair statement? Probably not to you, because now you do understand what you're doing, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good that he likes his job, even if we don't understand it.
Well, what we're going to do right now, though, I think we're going to talk about the things that are really important in life. And so yesterday, I was just telling you this. I saw something on Amazon, and this is going to be great for all of our friends out there if you want to live a wholehearted life. I found a way that you can get perfectly clear ice cubes in a cube. So those of you on YouTube, see, if you look, you can't even see that it's there, right? Do you see an
No, I
ice
don't.
cube?
It looks like you see
It
all the way
just looks
through
like
the
I got a
glass.
whole bunch of liquor in here, but I don't. Even if you look at the top.
So you
See, look at the-
actually
look at the
make
top.
the clear ice,
See?
or it's
Those
just,
are good words there,
Is it
Valerie
an
Lynn.
ice cube tray and you just do your water differently?
It's like it's like a cube thing holder, but then it has like this thing that encompasses it, and then when you put the water in it, it actually drains through to the bottom, and you fill it up. You fill it all the way up. So even those top cubes have something. And then I guess the impurities drop through those holes. And that's what makes it so that it...
I'll have to get that for Peter. Shh, don't tell him.
Okay.
Because he likes crazy ice cubes. He puts like round ice cubes in his drink, or he does. I don't know why. Ice is ice to me. I don't care.
Well, the reason why it's a big deal is because if you have a solid one like this, it does not melt as fast. And so it gets and keeps your drink cold without watering it down. So if you're having an old fashioned, which is probably my go-to drink now, instead of it watering down and becoming it just doesn't taste really good. But then on the other hand, if you don't put ice in there, then it gets warm, and that's not good either.
Yeah. I notice they're only in those kind of drinks because if I have a drink, I'll do a margarita, and it's never like that kind of a big one chunk of ice.
Yeah, I think margaritas, the way you drink a margarita, it's different. It doesn't matter if it's, because they even do blended, obviously, margaritas and stuff. So I don't think margaritas are the same kind of thing. I think like an old fashioned or just a drink on the rocks, just a regular drink on the rocks, you don't want the ice to melt.
You know what I do?
What do you do?
We have the metal. I think they're metal. I don't know.
Did you hear it? I do it. I did. That was good.
We have metal.
Those work too.
Yeah, and we just freeze those, and then I can put those in any drink, right? So that you don't want to get watered down.
No, those are good too, and I have those. I even have the stone ones. The problem is, I don't think they keep it very cold for very long. Like you put it in there and it goes, and then all of a sudden they warm up pretty quick. So I'm not quite sure what that deal is about, but that's what happens. So sorry, our dog wants to be part of the podcast. So, anywho, anything been going on with you?
I'm just winding down the school year.
I think you need to update them on your ankle though.
Oh, did I even say anything about my ankle last time?
Yeah, last week
when we talked on it.
Yeah, you dropped a weight on it, and then you said, "And I don't like going to the doctor." And tell us what happened the next day.
Not the next day. Oh, was it the next day?
Yes, it was.
Oh, the next day of the podcast, but that wasn't. It was literally a week and.
Oh, right, the next day of the podcast.
Yeah. Because the week and 2 days after I dropped the weight, but I think I told you guys too that I dropped a book on it at school. Right. It was like a notebook.
That was like the day before the podcast.
Yeah. So what happened was Saturday morning we went to the gym, and I wasn't going to do anything crazy. I was just going to do upper body. And then Peter said he was going to go on the treadmill and run a little bit. And I said, oh, I'm going to go walk. And so I was walking, and then he kept noticing that I would stop and put my feet on the sides. And then I thought maybe I shouldn't walk with a shoe on. I took my shoe off and was trying to walk with a sock on. And then I go, nope, that doesn't feel good. So I put my shoe back on. And then I was like limping through the whole thing. And he's like, maybe we need to go to the doctor because this is not looking good. So that's right. I was just like, at that point, just like, okay, you know what? I better go check it out because it's hurting pretty bad. So we did. And I found out I had a hairline fracture.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
She was like, does it hurt when you do this? Does it hurt when you do this? Does it hurt? And I'm like, no, not really. No, not really. And then Peter's like, she has a high tolerance for pain. Like, and I'm like, well, I mean, kind of right there. It's a little tender, So then she said, well, we're still going to go and we're going to boot it. And I'm like, and then they decided to do just a brace and then sent me over to do x-rays. And so I didn't know if it would come out in the x-ray because they said hairline fractures don't always show. But like 2 or 3 hours later, I got an email from Kaiser and they said your results are in. And then I looked it up and it said that there was a hairline fracture. So I'm like, oh, okay. And then Peter's like,
there it is.
See?
So are you better?
I'm almost better. Like I wore the brace for 2 or 3 days and then I could barely get a shoe on. It just was so uncomfortable. So I bought a compression thing and I wore that for a few days. And today's the first day I didn't wear the compression thing and it feels fine. Like I'm pretty much normal. The only time it hurts is when I take my shoe off and I walk barefoot on our marble floor. And then I'm like, oh, I can still kind of feel it. But for the most part, it's
don't
better.
do that.
But you know what the greatest thing was about getting my x-ray done?
They did the manicure.
It's the best.
The pedicure.
I walked in And he said, okay, can you just go sit over there? And he brings that big thing out to lay over like your
Oh, right.
private area because of the
lead thing.
Yeah. But he says, any chance of you being pregnant? I said, well, thank you very much. But no, absolutely no chance at all. But I appreciate you asking.
That's crazy.
And he was like, well, I have to ask anyone that looks under 50.
Yeah.
So, and I'm
By
like,
the way,
oh.
I just want to let you know, I had an x-ray. I had an x-ray on my tooth and they asked me if I was pregnant.
Oh, okay. Oh, so I guess they ask everybody.
Yeah, everybody. No. Oh, no, but that's very cool. I'm glad about your foot. I had to go to the dentist. I bring that up specifically. And so you know how we just talked about the fact that I hate going to the doctor or dentist just like you do and all that. And so I get there and of course they ask you your history. I really don't know. I really would like to know if the dentist actually reads what your medical history is, you know,
Oh, right.
if you've done this and that and the other. I don't know. Maybe they do. But I just kind of put a no through everything except for asthma. That was the only thing. And then I also, but I went through the whole thing. You wait, and it was relatively quick. I was actually really surprised. And they put me in the chair. Then I sit there, and they're really nice guys. Like he's taking 1,000 X-rays. He goes, "I'm going to do this." And he actually, can I tell you how competitive I am? This is seriously how.
What, you were going to challenge him at the X-ray machine or something?
No, this is how competitive I am. So do you know how they put that thing in your mouth, right? They put that thing in your mouth, and then you have to bite down, and then they X-ray it, and then they move it like a quarter inch. It's like, really, does that matter?
Yeah.
But that's what they always do,
Yeah.
right? You want to know how competitive I am? I want to be the best patient and make it so that it's like the fastest and quickest transition. I'm serious. It's like he's going back and forth, and he's moving, and I would open it up just at the right time, and then he'd move, and I put it down right at the right time.
It's like he wants to enter the Olympics for this or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's so funny because all of a sudden I realized that I'm thinking, and I started saying to myself, why do I care that I'm so good at this? It's like there is no award, nothing's happening. But can I tell you what really killed me? I'm not joking. This is all in my head. I'm not even thinking anything.
Yeah.
He's down to the last two things or something like that. And I said something because, they have to move it. Then they have to walk away.
Yeah.
And take a picture.
Stand behind
and
the thing to take the picture.
Yeah. And so I said something like, man, you must get a lot of steps in or something like that. He goes, oh, I do. I have to get a lot of steps in. He goes, sometimes it's worse than others. He goes, but it's helpful when you have a really good client, and you are seriously one of the best. And you're like, oh my God, I won. I'm seriously. I'm not joking. That's the way I think, though.
But you know what? It's so funny you said that because I feel the same way. I really do. Everything, like, even with the whole thing in the doctor for she was fitting the boot, and I go, oh, here, let me help you. And then I'm like, oh, and then I have to do the x-ray. So let me take the boot off or whatever it's called,
Prepare
the brace off. Yeah. So they don't have to, mess with anything, or, you know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like,
exactly. It's kind of like, I want them to look and go, that person's amazing. It's like in the end, it does absolutely nothing for me. Patty, you've never ever thought like that ever, have you? Probably not.
She's a go with the flow
she's like,
person.
no, I can't even see. I would be trying to figure out, have I ever been thinking like that? Because I want to know, and I want to be able to say exactly how many times. No, and I realize that I constantly am thinking about like being the best at whatever it was.
That's funny.
Anyway, so he takes all the pictures, and then he prepares all the stuff, and then the doctor comes in and has to look at it and do that thing where I go, is this where you do that whole number thing? And he's like, yeah. And so they go 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 6, and they're just saying all these different numbers. Well, I was sad when I found out that I think he said, all I know is that I was getting all these 4s and 5s. And then every once in a while I get a 2 and I go, ooh, because I knew that it had to do with the depth of like whatever. So you don't want it down very far.
Right. I
had so many that were like in the 3 to 5 range, and then finally he finishes and he goes, well, and then it's they have this little thing that it takes pictures. It's like a I don't know what it is, a little wand thingy. It's like looks like a big pen.
Yeah.
And it takes a picture. And he took these pictures because I have a tooth that's like got a hole in it, which no idea. I didn't know that at all. And so he's taking all these different pictures of it. And so I'm just letting him do it. And then he puts it on the screen, which is right there. We never had that in our day. A TV up front where you can like be watching Netflix
Right.
or whatever. But he puts it on the TV and shows me, and teeth are gross.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
do not like to
I mean,
see
I
that.
looked at it and I go, oh my God, you're going to look at that all day?
I know.
And he goes, and then he actually said, it's really not that bad. And yours are really actually not that bad at all. And I was like, really?
Yeah,
I go,
you're
that's
like,
horrible,
ew,
man.
yeah.
It had a hole in it. It had those brown chunks in it.
Right.
And it was all these little things. And I'm like, golly, it looks like it's going to fall apart. And he goes, well, that's because this is a filling and that is a filling. And I go, what's real? And he's like, well, this little part right here is real. The rest of it filling. And then now I have to get a crown. You know, for as much as a crown costs, I should be a king. Because it's like, it's ridiculous how much they
I
are.
don't know. I've never had a crown.
Are you serious?
No. Well, no. Have you?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know I'm having one now. He just said, we can't fill that hole anymore. This is the one I was telling you about that
I
had
see.
75 different fillings.
Yeah.
He goes, if we keep doing that, it's just you're gonna have a problem. So now I have to have a crown, and then I have 2 fillings. But what's funny is I asked, when was the last time I came here? And he looks at it, he goes, 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it.
I haven't been to the dentist in years. My last dentist was with our old insurance, and then the whole pandemic happened, and then so it's been like 5 years
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, you're probably gonna die.
No, I just don't have. I have receding gums, but my teeth are actually. I don't have any fillings. I don't have any.
You don't have any fillings?
No, and I don't have any. What's it called? I mean, I look at my mouth. I look at my gums. I mean, my teeth. I don't have any like dark spots on my teeth or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I was surprised because I didn't think I had any dark spots until he started taking these ridiculous
We have one
photos.
of those mirrors that you can look at.
Are you serious? Why?
I don't know. Peter bought it one time for something. I think he had something stuck one time, or I don't even know, but he bought it years ago. And so,
Huh.
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't want to look at my teeth. It just doesn't interest me. Well, it's been a great podcast, Valerie. Thank you. Wholehearted
that was
Living.
fun.
Where's the topic?
Okay, so I'm debating because let me tell you guys, as I said, I forgot my notes. So I'm like, oh, it was a good topic, and I don't know if I'm going to cover everything if I don't have the notes with me. Should I just chat about something else? And so, kind of, I think I'm going to go in another direction because I really just want to touch on what I had in there.
You know what's really cool about it is, had you not said any of that, no one would
would
know
even
anything.
know. Yeah. So this was planned. No, but okay. So why I'm bringing this up, and you guys already know why, but I'll share in a minute. But my question is to you is, do you think things happen for a reason in our lives? Do you think that circumstances or happenings happen for a reason?
So I don't know how philosophical you really want to get on this.
You don't have
thing.
to get philosophical. Just
I don't know if I like the idea that things happen for a reason. I do think that everything that happens, you can be used for the good. I'm not sure if I would agree that everything that happens for a reason. I'm going to use the most extreme example, a woman getting raped. I don't know that happens for a reason. On the other hand, you lose your job, and then all of a sudden you go, oh my goodness, look at this other job that I would never ever have thought of. So I don't know if I'm on. See, this is where I derail you, right?
No, that's fine. No, that's fine because it's funny because part of me, like, I'll explain more why I'm just even bringing this up, but part of me thinks that life doesn't always happen to us; it happens for us. I think I said that one other time. I feel like there's things in our life that everybody, like, I think, oh, maybe that's what our topic was last time. Like, why me? Why me? That was what my topic was last time. But anyway, why me? And, why does life happen like this to me? And it's like, I don't think that everything always happens to us. I think it happens for us. And it's in it to teach us a lesson. It's in there to help us grow, whatever it might be. So the reason I bring it up is because on a good note, as you guys know, Kylie has been auditioning for random things here and there, whether it be shows or whatever. And Kylie is my daughter.
So for
anyone's,
listening, Kylie
she's
is my niece who is an artist, like in the
musical theater.
musical theater.
Yeah.
And so last year, Valerie and I both went on a cruise, and Patty and my mom, to watch her perform. And so she is not on an actual contract right now, but she's looking for other contracts.
Yeah, so she would love to be on a cruise again, but prior to being on the cruise, she worked for Disney for doing things, and she did, musical theater on stage and all that kind of stuff. She just likes performing. And so when she got
And she's very good.
back, thank you. When she got back,
You're not very good. She's very good.
I know. But I birthed her. No. When she got back, she still wanted to perform. She wanted a contract, but that didn't happen. So she's just been auditioning for shows. And every time she always gets a call back, which is so frustrating because, it's like if you don't get the call back, then there's not like a lot of hope. But if you get the call back, you're like, oh,
yay.
Well, they like me. But then, inevitably wouldn't get the job for whatever reason. And I always just said to her, Kylie, I know it's hard to hear, but you're not getting those jobs for a reason. There's a reason you're not getting those jobs. And and some of those jobs weren't paid for. Some of them were just community theater. And she was like, I just want to perform, so I'm still going to audition for that, And so anyway, moving forward, she did audition for Hunchback of Notre Dame, and it's a paid job. And she got the cast of Esmeralda, the leading female character. And so my thing to her was, oh my God, congratulations. And then I'm like, see, now do you understand why you didn't get those last couple of jobs you just auditioned for? Because they would have overlapped. You would have never been able to audition for this one. This one's a paid job, blah, blah, blah. This is where you're supposed to be, you know? And so, she's always just like, oh, mommy, that kind of thing. But,
well, I think the thing is that for me, when I'm considering, like I said, I don't, okay, I'm really going to get more spiritual too, because it's like, okay, does everything happen for a reason, or are things allowed to happen? And then in the end, good things can come of it. Because I can think of, I lost a job. I have been fired in my adult life more than I've ever been fired in my entire life. And what's interesting is that for those of you that have listened recently, I lost my internship. I actually quit that internship. But it was very interesting to get that job. I'm not going to go into every detail other than to say it was like a panic mode. And I didn't get to interview the person. They didn't really interview me. I don't know why she wanted an intern so bad, to be honest with you, because most intern jobs, you get paid. And you don't get paid, you don't get paid, but the company gets paid. So that's like the benefit is that the company's making money off of you. And so she didn't charge for me. So she got nothing. And so it was kind of like, I don't know why you're doing this other than maybe to help me or whatever. But I'm just going to be honest and say she was not a great supervisor.
Right.
I mean, it just came down to the fact she was not. And there were a lot of things around that. Suffice it to say, I ended up quitting. And in quitting, I panicked. There's a lot of things that are repercussions for quitting and all that. But it was even my university supervisor was kind of like, it makes sense that you quit, because she even understood the difficulties of the situation, having met with the woman. And now I found out that I got a job, and it's a paid job. So, and not only that, because of my experience, I was able to interview this person in a way. I mean, they're interviewing me clearly, but also I was able to ask them questions and really find out some things, so that hopefully this is going to be a much better experience. I haven't started yet, but I do think that if I were to still be, for instance, in Ecuador, with everything that I'm not saying I wouldn't love Ecuador, because we did, but I love our current life.
Right.
I love who we are. I love what we've become. I love the relationships we have with our kids and with you guys, to be able to reconnect with you guys again. We always connected well, but now we see each other all the time compared to seeing each other twice a year, maybe, or once a year for sure, but maybe twice. Yeah. So this wouldn't have happened if it
Yeah.
wasn't for a lot of other things. So
Well, and that is kind of like, I think that a lot of times we don't see why things happen as a stepping stone for something better to happen, and even though it's like such a bummer and there could be a lot of heartache in things that happen that move you to another job or another area, another whatever. But at the end of the day, like, did good happen from that? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I guess for myself, like, I'm thinking about like, okay, so for us, I just found out from our landlord, we rent our house. I just found out that our lease is up. We've been there 5 years, I think, 4 years.
Oh my
5
gosh.
years,
Is that true?
something like that. Yeah,
That's crazy.
I think we moved in 4 years because we moved there in 2020 during the whole pandemic.
Oh, okay.
And so 4 years, I guess. And it's up in July, and they reached out and said that they don't know if they may want to sell the house. They asked us if we wanted to buy the house, and then they're thinking
You said
about
yes,
selling.
as
Yeah,
long as you can sell it for in the area of $200,000.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, well, yeah, we can afford a freaking $1 million house that's worth not even, like, who knew that North Torrance would have $1 million houses? It's ridiculous. But anyway, all that to say, like, in my mind just starts going crazy. Like, oh my gosh, are they going to sell it? Because he's like, it's not sure if we're going to sell it. We wanted to give you the first opportunity, but at the same time, if maybe we'll just continue the rent, the lease or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, so all this stuff is going on in my head, like, already, like, oh my gosh, should I be looking for something else? What should I do? Can I, is there a way we can work out to rent to own? Can we, all this stuff is going through my head. And then I just had to, like, seriously say, whatever happens is going to happen. And whatever happens is going to happen for the betterment of my life. Like, I am going to do all the things necessary to do to make it to where I want to be. I would love to stay there. So I will still discuss with them certain things. How can we still stay here? How can we possibly maybe someday buy this house from you? I mean, anyway, all that to say, like, at the end of the day, whatever the final result is with this place, I'm just going to have to believe that there's something better for me.
Well, that's, I think, the key, right? Because the key thing isn't, like I said, I think some things are just inherently bad. Okay, so I think some things are just bad.
Okay, so
that
now
happen.
in the case of the rape, and I am not at all like, if I were to get raped or anybody that I loved get raped, there'd be no way I could just go, well, this happened for a reason, because you know what I mean. Like but I have heard so many people, a rape victim or something that's so seriously tragic happens like that have gone out and spoke to girls, gone out and like mentored girls that this has happened to, and then they've created their own little business or their own workshop. And so again, I'm not even trying to say that, oh gosh, that happens for a reason, because that is
and I agree with you. I don't want to this is my point, is that I think this is why I want to say, your original question was, does everything happen for a reason?
Yeah.
So the implication in saying that, or at least maybe you didn't mean to imply that, but the implication is, I'm going to use my terminology, God ordained it for this really crappy thing to happen to you. Or even you could have done something really crappy, you know what I mean? And then later you get caught and it's another issue. And so regardless of what the case is, it's almost like, did God ordain that so that this other thing can happen? And that's where I go, I'm not a big fan. I think in one of our very first podcasts, right, Iggy, you're going to remember this. In one of our very first podcasts, I talk about this woman. I just looked her up. Edith Egger. I don't know how to say her name. But she's that Holocaust survivor. She's a Holocaust survivor, and she's written now books. I've heard her on podcasts. I've read her books. And, I don't think she would ever say, I'm so glad this happened to me. And then on the other hand, she uses what happened to her to impact other people's lives. Now she's a psychologist and she's able to, you know, when people come in with trauma, she's like, really?
Right.
You know,
right.
it's like, I don't mean to say that. She doesn't
Right,
even
right, right.
remotely
She's not
treat
gonna
it like
right,
that.
right.
But my point is I mean, and the name of the book is The Choice.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly what you're saying. The choice is, do I go, my life sucks and I hate it and this thing happened to me and I'm a victim and I'm just going to die here and this is it. I'm salt who's going to waste away. You know, I'm just wet and I'm going bye-bye. Or am I going to say, this happened to me. It wasn't my fault, which is key. But what can I do now?
Right.
Because I don't want to live in this state. I want to live in a new state.
Yeah.
And the wholehearted living idea is, I think all of us live where we get to make a choice at some level. So, you know,
I like the way you put that with a choice, because it is a choice. You can go down the rabbit hole of, you know, kind of like what we talked about last week or a couple of weeks ago with woe is me and why is this happening to me? Or you have the choice to go, okay, what can I do with this? You know, and again, like, you know, even to the point of like saying, you know, why am I not getting this job? Why am I not getting that promotion? Why am I not, you know, those kind of things. Like, you have the choice to keep saying, why am I not? Why is this not happening for me? Why am I not? Or you can realize that, okay, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, trucking along in the direction I want to go. And the right thing will happen for me, because it will.
Well, and I want to even go one step further, because this is something I like to talk about in life coaching, sometimes in therapy, but definitely in life coaching, is, you know, I don't want to speak about Kylie per se, but me, in the mindset of God always has some kind of plan for us, and we're intended to be a certain kind of person, experience a certain amount of joy, experience happiness, live a fruitful, happy, joyous life. That's what we're intended to live. Every one of us is intended to live like that.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is when we get focused more on the objective than the journey, we really miss out on a lot of great things in life, because we're so focused on achieving the particular goal that there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening in the meantime to who we are, to our character, the relationships that we're building, but we're just ignoring all of that stuff in order for us just to achieve the goal. And in the end, and this is really common for young people who are career oriented, and the next thing they know, they've lost their family, they've lost their friends, they're not connected to people, because why?
Right.
Because they were focused on you know, the whatever it is, the either the power or the money. They want one or the other. And then you have the other people, on the other hand, that are like, they just want to totally live life without any sense of purpose, and they just sit in front of Netflix and they never grow, they never get better, and then in the end they're going, man, what did I achieve in life? But the point is, what are you doing? Like, what's that process that's getting you there? Because that, to me, is almost as important as the end goal. I think it was Tom Brady who in our family, we really don't like to talk about him, but since he's retired, like Patty's looking at me with disdain, but because we're Kansas City Chiefs fans, if you guys didn't know.
I thought you meant Mike Brady from the Brady Bunch. No, just kidding.
So Tom Brady is retired, so I feel like I can talk about him. But one of the things that I heard him say one time in an interview was something about the fact that one of the things that's an issue with kids today is that they're not interested in practice. And he goes, everything happens in the practice. The game is like the dessert, but everything really happens in the practice.
Yep.
And for us, everything in life is practice. Whatever happens when you finally achieve it, that's the dessert. And but really life happens in between.
Exactly.
That. And so I
thought, and even like, you know, in the case of like Kylie doing these auditions, I'm like, babe, you have to understand that's your job. Your job is basically to audition, and landing a job is the icing on the cake. But the job is really just going to auditions all the time. Like, you think about how many people, I mean, obviously if you're way up there, they'll offer you a job and say, we want you for this part. But most people just have to constantly audition. I
know. I listened to Brian Baumgartner's, is that his name? He was Kevin on The Office. And I listened to The Office ladies. Yeah, I like The Office ladies. Okay. But I listened to those two about The Office, the show The Office. And one thing that fascinated me was, I think it was Brian Baumgartner that talked about, because he really did like a more of a deep thing. But he talked about all the people that applied to be Michael Scott.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they were like famous people.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays people who they can do whatever they want to.
And you're like, wow, what, they didn't just pick him. Just
exactly.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
do these people not get picked?
Yeah.
And I can't remember. I wish I could remember names.
Right.
But there were several people that I thought, oh my goodness, I can't believe that those people applied. And that's the case, is even those people
Yeah.
got rejected.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that get rejected all the time. And so
Yeah.
I thought that's fascinating that you could be that high, that good. And it's still, I laugh at the fact that in the first season of The Office, who's the girl that did remember the episode where she sold, purses. Yeah. Amy something. Amy, she's been in so many TV shows, movies anyway.
Are you talking about the one that dated Jim?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't think of her name, but yeah.
It's Amy something or other. But anyway, super famous now. Now she could do any movie anytime. She's super, she's all that stuff. Well, I didn't know this because I watched The Office after she was famous.
Oh.
So when I watched The Office and she's on there, I'm like, oh my goodness, why'd she do The Office? I thought that was crazy because she was just
Amy Adams. Yeah.
And she was just what was that called? An add-on, she was only in a few episodes.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow, that's crazy that they put her in a few episodes.
Right.
And then it turns out that it was that was right before the movie that made her famous, which I can't remember what it was called. But I think she won an award for it. But it was right before that. And then after that, it was like, yeah, you're not getting Amy Adams on The Office.
Right.
But it's funny because there's that journey. It's like it doesn't just happen. What's her face? Pam? Jenna Fisher? She even wrote a book about this, but she said she was ready to quit. She was literally ready to quit. She was done. She was like moving back to St. Louis because she had been doing this so many auditions, blah, 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 blah. Ends up doing one more, The Office.
Right. Yeah.
The rest is history.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess this was a weird topic, kind of just like a lot of bunch of stuff jumbled all in one. But I guess at the end of the day, my real point in this is, and you brought up God. Like I kind of feel in my heart, I don't know how other people feel. I feel like our life is planned out. Like it's already there, and we're supposed to be making the choices to keep moving in the direction of the plan, if you will. But what am I trying to say? But I think that we were always given the choice, and I personally choose to try to live wholeheartedly and understand that this is just life. Life happens, and there's going to be ups and downs, and we're going to, run into things, or we're going to be able to, sometimes it's smooth sailing and you're just like, whoa, we're just cruising on in life. And then it's just like all of a sudden you have all these things that you have to obstacles. And so,
I can't remember what it is, if it's a quilt or what it is, but when you look at it from the back, it looks completely in disarray. It just looks like a bunch of, I'm going to call it yarn. I don't know, but it's just going all over the place. And you're just looking at it and you're like, what in the world is that? And then you turn it around and it's this beautiful thing. And I kind of feel like that's life. But you can choose to look at the beautiful side, or you can choose to look at the bad side. And so, yeah. If you want to live wholeheartedly, choose to live on the,
look at the beautiful side.
Look at the beautiful side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like one day you look outside and you see there's clouds, but then, and I don't like looking at clouds, to be honest with you.
No, let's end on that.
I want to see blue skies, but you can just keep going. Oh my gosh, look at those dark clouds. That looks ugly. Or you can look down and see all of the nice green grass or the flowers, because that dark cloud brought rain and made those
Yeah.
flourish. Oh my gosh, that was so cheesy.
Well, it wasn't bad. The problem is if you live in Missouri, there's like 6 months of not seeing green grass or sun. So,
Oh,
so,
okay.
but they
Wow.
could choose to think about other things. So everybody could choose to think about other things for sure. So
They can look at the nice wood patio in their backyard.
So, folks, choose to look at the grass. I always like to say the grass is greener where you water it, not on
Absolutely.
the other side.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, thanks, Valerie,
You are so welcome.
for not having a notepad and anything. We could still talk.
I know, right?
Oh
We
my
can
gosh.
still chat. That is one thing we could do.
We can do. So,
Well,
all right,
thanks for
guys.
joining us, guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Iggy, for keeping us in sound.
Yes.
You gonna say anything, Iggy? You got to say it out loud.
Like and subscribe.
There you
Like
go.
and subscribe to Wholehearted Living on YouTube as well as
Spotify.
Spotify, and then our
We have a Instagram, Wholehearted Living podcast.
living pod. Yeah, exactly. She said
Yes.
it right. I don't know what I'm doing. Go to bed. All right, folks.
All right.
Well, thank you
Have
so
a
much.
good week.
Have a great week.
Bye.
Ciao.